way. How could I have ever trusted you? Too bad for you, but this is the truth. You won't need to worry about the damages, though. You'll definitely be paid for that. How much do you want? Will $20,000 to $30,000 do? After all, I'll be getting married to a man that makes $150,000 annually. I'll be getting his father's assets, too. So measly $20,000 to $30,000 won't set me back at all.
Trouble Busters!
My name's Heather. I'm 27 years old and I'm currently living together with my husband, Nate. Nate was the one that confessed his love to me first, and after that, we started dating. Soon after, he proposed to me and we got married. Nate's quite good looking, so some might think that he'd be a player, but I felt as though he truly loved me, and that's why I fell for him. We don't live with his dad, Seth, but I have a good relationship with him, and I'm happy about that.
Heather, look at this.
Oh, that's a rare beer, isn't it?
It is. My friend from Germany brought it back for me as a gift. Apparently, it's even quite rare in Germany too.
Oh, wow. I guess that's why I've never seen it before.
He bought a whole case of it for me, so please, don't hesitate to drink as much of it as you like. How about we enjoy this beer while watching the recorded soccer game between America and Germany?
I'm sure the beer will taste amazing that way. Like this, every day was pretty fun and peaceful for all of us, or at least it had been. Unfortunately, from the end of the last year, Seth started to become quite ill, and due to the pandemic, it became harder to meet up with him like before. Around the time his dad got sick, Nate started to also go out and see his dad at his dad's house. It seemed as though Nate was just being a good son by going to see how his dad was doing, but for some reason I couldn't get rid of the feeling that Nate was up to something else whenever he left our place.
I'll be going to see my dad today too, and I'll be staying over at his place, so I won't be needing dinner.
Oh, okay. But Nate, are you really able to cook for you and your dad?
I'll just buy the two of us something to eat from a shop somewhere. Do you mind giving me $50 for dinner, for the both of us, as allowance?
Isn't $50 a little too much for a simple dinner for two people?
Well, I want to feed my dad some good food. That's why I need that much money. He even said that he's into eating meat recently, and that's a good sign. It's good that he has an appetite. I also want to get him something to drink too. You know how much he likes beer.
I understand what you're saying, and it's good that he has an appetite, but your dad's sick, right? Are you sure you should be getting him beer at a time like this, even though he likes it?
Of course it's fine. After all, alcohol is pretty much a type of medicine.
But you know, ever since your mom passed away, Seth hadn't been the best at looking after himself. He's nearly 60, and I think him being sick now is also a much-needed wake-up call.
It's fine. Trust me. I know what I should be looking out for with him. I'll be off then.
Like that, Nate would pretty much leave our house every evening in order to spend time with his dad. I'd ask Nate if he wanted me to go with him too, but he'd always come up with some excuse so that I wouldn't have to go. He even said not to call Seth for the time being, so I couldn't help that it felt like something was off with Nate. It was around this time that my friend from high school and my current best friend Mel came to visit. Hey, it's been a while since we last saw each other. How have you been? I know, it's been too long. I've been doing well. I was surprised when you got here because you didn't let me know in advance that you'd be dropping by. Come on, Heather. We're best friends after all. Isn't it fine if I drop by like this? I just couldn't stop myself from seeing how you were doing. And also, I came by to say something to you today. What is it? I'll get straight to the point. Can you divorce Nate? What? Mel, what are you going on about? I said get a divorce. Don't make me say the same thing over and over again. I get what you're saying, but it doesn't make any sense. Is this some kind of prank? Mel just showed up at my place out of nowhere. But not only that, she was for some reason going on about me getting a divorce from my husband. I really couldn't figure out what was going on. But I asked Mel for more information on this matter, and that's when she told me. Apparently, Mel wanted Nate and I to get divorced in order for her and Nate to get married. My best friend wanted to marry my husband. Why would you think that would be okay, though? For you to marry my husband? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, come on, Heather. Haven't you realized something's changed lately? What? Have you noticed that Nate gets home later than usual recently, and that he spends a lot of nights away from home? Oh, wait, how do you know that? That's because whenever he's out of the house, he's seeing me. I can't believe you were married to such a handsome and great guy, Heather. What? Nate loves me. He loves everything about me. He knows exactly what to do to make me happy. He loves me, and I'm also madly in love with him. And I even have this photo here to prove our love for each other. With that, Mel showed me a photo of the two of them together in a hotel. I didn't even ask her, but she went on to tell me that they'd see each other like this at hotels 2 times per week. This was all too much information for me to handle, and I couldn't keep all of my feelings in check. I was saddened by so many things, but towards Mel, I was mostly devastated that my best friend had stabbed me in the back. We had been friends since high school, and I trusted her. But then she went and did this to me. Weren't we supposed to be best friends? How could you have done such a thing to me? We were best friends, but you see, there are priorities for certain things. And I unfortunately came across something that just so happened to be more important to me than our friendship. I won't be giving up my husband just like that. After all, we made a vow to be together through everything. Do you have any idea where you stand in this situation? Stop pretending like you're the only one that gave up anything to be with Nate. I gave up my office job to be with him. He told me that he liked women that could take care of themselves. So I started to work nights at a bar in order to make more money to look after the both of us. With the money I got from working at the bar, I gave him an allowance of a few $1,000s every month. I did all that to become the woman of his dreams. I feel kind of sorry for you for having done all of that because of him. There's no need for you to feel sorry for me. I'll do whatever it takes for him to marry me. You and I are different. I'm willing to go all the way for him. I don't care what you say, Mel. I won't be getting a divorce from Nate. Oh, is that so? Then I'll tell you something else that'll for sure change your mind. What? I'm pregnant with Nate's child. Compared to that, you have nothing on us, do you? After all, it's not like you're pregnant with his child or anything, so I win. I win because I'm pregnant, and that's enough reason for me to be the winner here. No, you've got to be kidding me. But it makes sense, doesn't it? After all, you knew he'd been staying over somewhere recently. Look, if you're still not convinced, then let me show you another photo we took. With that, Mel showed me a photo of the two of them in a hotel again. But this time they were holding a positive pregnancy test. See? Now you believe me, right? There's nothing you can say now to win this battle of ours. No way. How could I have ever trusted you? Too bad for you, but this is the truth. You won't need to worry about the damages, though. You'll definitely be paid for that. How much do you want? Will $20,000 to $30,000 do? After all, I'll be getting married to a man that makes $150,000 annually. I'll be getting his father's assets, too. So measly $20,000 to $30,000 won't set me back at all. Cry more, Heather. Cry all you want, but there's no way you're coming out of this being the winner. With all of this information to your knowledge now, you'll be getting divorced from Nate, right? With those final words, Mel left my place. After she left, I tried to get in contact with Nate, but he wouldn't answer my calls or return my texts or even come home. And from that day onwards, for some reason, my other friends started to not get back to me too. Even though I tried to ask them what was going on, no one would answer me, and they just ignored me. Things were like this for a week, but luckily one of my friends got in contact with me and told me what had been going on. Apparently, my friends had been told that I had apparently married Nate for his money. Then when Nate told me that he wanted to get divorced with me to be with Mel, I got angry and kicked Mel in the stomach. Of course, these sounded like ridiculous rumors, and I couldn't believe that my friends would actually believe such things about me. But I knew the person that most likely started them. Mel, you're the one that's been spreading weird rumors about me, aren't you? Yeah, so? Why are you going around saying such ridiculous things about me? I never laid a finger on you, you know that. The truth doesn't matter. Just look what's happened now. Now everyone hates you. And it looks like I've won again. Why did you have to go out of your way to do such a thing to me? That's because you still won't get divorced from Nate. Just get divorced already. Or else I'll spread even more horrible rumors about you. I felt so hopeless at this point. All the friends I'd had believed what Mel had said about me, so I really didn't have anyone I could trust at this point. Now that things had come to this, I thought it was best for me to try to make everything clear. It was later this day when Nate finally came home for the first time in a few days. I heard everything from Mel. You've been seeing her behind my back, haven't you?
What? Why would I do such a thing? I've been looking after my dad all this time.
Don't lie to me. I already saw it. The photo of you two together in the hotel.
Damn it. Why did Mel have to go and tell you everything about us? I didn't want you to find out yet so that I could keep mooching off of you a while longer. But now I won't be able to do so.
How could you do such a thing to me?
Why do you care anyway? We're pretty much over now. Let's just get this over and done with and get a divorce now. My dad will probably pass away soon, and after that, I'll get a lot of money from his will. Then I'll really have no reason to be with you anymore. I won't be needing you for your money anymore.
I can't believe this is happening to me. Nate had somehow changed completely, and with this new attitude of his, he said whatever he wanted to say and then left our place. Why was all of this happening to me? What am I supposed to do from now on? I was so lost at this point in time. But after, I thought back to what Mel had told me, and also about what Nate had told me, and I realized that the two of them had made one big misunderstanding. It was in that moment that I stopped crying and realized that I knew what I had to do in order to teach them both a lesson. They betrayed me in the worst way possible. There's no way they're both getting away with this. Troublebusters. The next day, Mel got in touch with me. Hello, this is your best friend, Mel. Hello, my ex-best friend. Why did you call me?
I just wanted to let you know that Nate and I started living together today, and I was just so happy about it that I had to let you know.
Right. Since we're together now, Nate's going to look after me so I can finally stop working nights at the bar. And Nate's dad is pretty sick at the moment and is likely to pass away soon, so after that, we'll get even more money from him for the both of us. Doesn't that sound like it's going great for us? You called me just to tell me that? Yes, and just wanted to thank you for everything. Why would you be thanking me? Thanks to you divorcing Nate, I'll now be able to become the happiest woman on the planet. Thanks for sacrificing your happiness for mine. Are you really that happy, though, being with a man that only makes $15,000 annually? And that won't be getting anything from his dad even if his dad were to pass away? I really thought that you wanted to be with Nate because of the money, but I guess not now, and that you actually genuinely like him. You really do surprise me, Mel. What? What are you going on about? You didn't know. Nate doesn't make $150,000 annually. He only makes $15,000. And also, he's not in his dad's will to receive anything if his dad's to pass away. Actually, I'm the only one that's in Nate's dad's will. What are you saying? Stop lying. You're just making things up to spite me. If you don't believe me, then just ask Nate. With that, I hung up on Mel. Then, half an hour later, Mel and Nate came to my place. I guess they'd finally had the talk about the truth about Nate's situation. Heather, what's going on here? Explain everything to me now. But I did earlier on the phone. Nate only makes... Why though? Wasn't he supposed to be making $150,000, not $15,000 annually? He said he was only interested in women who made the same amount of money as him. That's why I started working at the bar to make more money. What's the truth? Nate works at a convenience store and only makes around $1,200 a month. You've got to be kidding me! The only person in this household that makes $150,000 annually is me. Nate was practically living off of me during our whole marriage. I guess because I allowed him to spend the money I make, he was going around saying that he was rich or something.
Stop it! Stop telling Mel everything!
I wanted Nate to always look his best. That's why I never said no when he wanted to buy branded clothes or an expensive new car. But I guess he was just using those things to lure you in by making himself look as though he was successful. That's stupid of me.
I said stop blabbering on about everything!
But it still doesn't make sense that Nate wouldn't be included in his dad's will. And I know that Nate's dad is a director at a big famous company. I know that he's really well off. Yeah, that's true. Then it still makes sense that his only son Nate would get his assets once he passes away. Yeah, well, the thing is, all his assets will pretty much be going to me if that were to happen. It's already been decided. Why though? That doesn't make any sense. Well, his dad always knew that Nate was never that great with savings and spending money. So he trusted me with his money and assets after his passing. He knew that if he let Nate be in charge of it, he would recklessly spend it. That's why we both decided to sign off on me getting his assets after he passed.
How dare you make such a pact with my dad without telling me?
That's because your dad told me not to tell you about it. Wait, the pact that you both made? Even if you two were to get divorced, it means that I'd still have the right to receive Nate's dad's assets, even if Nate and I weren't married anymore. You must be stupid or something. You really have no idea how the law works, do you? What? No matter what kind of contract you sign with Nate's dad, technically all of his assets would still need to be halved evenly between you and Nate. There's no way that you'd be entitled to 100% of his assets. Mel, I think you're the one that fully doesn't understand the law here. In our situation, I will be indeed receiving 100% of everything he leaves behind, on account of this contract he wrote up and signed himself saying that that would be the case. It was in this moment that both Mel and Nate finally came to their senses and had no choice but to accept the truth of the matter. They both looked like they were done for, but Mel kept trying to have a go at me. But it doesn't make sense that that would still be valid once you and Nate got divorced. I'm sure Nate's dad wouldn't want you to still be the one to get his assets if that's the case.
Exactly. Then it makes sense that I get everything from my dad after our divorce.
I said earlier, but Nate's dad was always worrying about your responsibility in terms of finances. That's why he asked me not to break the contract with him, even if Nate and I were to get divorced in the future. What an idiotic old man!
That moron.
But he's really sick now, right? And he's pretty old, so I'm sure he'll pass away soon enough. So as long as that happens, Nate will be able to at least get a little something from his dad, which then will hopefully be enough for Nate and I to live off of for the time being.
Well, the thing is...
Wow, you really didn't tell Mel the truth about anything, did you? Nate racked up quite the debt after gambling a lot of money away. And to pay that back, his dad already gave him a huge amount of money, and his dad said that that was Nate's portion of his assets that he gets. So even if Nate's dad were to pass away soon, Nate won't be getting any more money directly from him. What?
So, Nate's really getting nothing even if his dad were to pass away? Exactly. No way, you idiot, Nate! How dare you lie to me like this?
With that, Mel couldn't get enough of berating Nate, and Nate was too shocked to be able to do anything about the situation.
Why did you have to use all the money your dad gave you on paying back our debt? Why'd you have to rack up debt in the first place anyway? I thought you loved me enough to want to have a good life with me.
I thought after we got married, then you'd look after me. After all, you're making quite a lot of money from working at the bar, right?
I quit that job because we were finally getting officially together.
What?
And I'm having a baby after all. I can't be out drinking at night for work. If anyone's to work in this relationship of ours, you should be the one to do so.
After that, the two kept fighting about who should be the one to work between the two of them. I guess it was hard for them to figure it out, considering that the both of them were planning on being looked after by the other one. You could already tell that even if the two were to get married, they'd have a pretty rocky marriage. And on top of everything, the thing is, Seth actually got better quite quickly after everything had gone down with Mel and Nate. After he stayed at the hospital for a while, he was then put on bed rest at home, and because he was able to quickly recover, he's pretty much in perfect shape right now. Mel and Nate were so focused on getting money from Nate's dad passing, so I guess them fighting this way really is some kind of karma that came their way. There's also one thing that's been bothering me since a little while ago. If I asked this question of mine now, I knew that I'd be adding more fuel to the fire, but I decided to do it anyway. That reminds me, Mel, you said earlier that you two had been seeing each other 2 times per week, right?
Yeah, so?
Well, Nate was actually out of the house pretty much every night. If he was only seeing you for 2 of those nights, then I wonder where he was for all the other nights that he was away as well. I'm sure he was in bed with somebody, maybe not you, but other women.
You idiot, Nate! What's going on here? Explain yourself!
Well, it's not like you could work nights at a bar for the rest of your life. The older you get, the less money you'd make. That's why I was trying to find the next woman I could latch onto.
Seriously? You're an imbecile! I can't believe you'd cheat on me!
I guess what goes around comes around. After all, you were the cheater that took Nate from me first.
But...
After that, they still kept going on about who should be the breadwinner between the two of them. Of course, neither of them wanted to step into that position, but considering that Mel's pregnant with their child, they eventually came to the conclusion that Nate should be the one to work for the both of them. With that being said, though, Nate had only ever worked at a convenience store at this time, so it was going to be difficult to expect him to work full-time and hold down multiple jobs. Soon after the day where the 3 of us had this talk, Nate contacted me.
Heather, I came to realize something, and that is that my heart has felt so empty ever since we broke up. That's when I realized that my heart lies in you.
Ew, what is this?
I never intended to have a baby with Mel. I really think Mel forced it on herself to somehow get pregnant with my baby. I'm sure she went out of her way to make sure that she ended up being pregnant with my child, just to get me to be with her. Even now, she's so demanding of me, and she won't let me have any freedom. Please help me, Heather.
I can't believe you had the audacity to text me any of this. Block. Together with his phone number, I'll block his email address and all of the accounts he has on social media. The moment Nate realized that he'd made a huge mistake, he contacted me and tried to sweet-talk me into taking him back. But this time I wasn't going to let anything cloud my judgment, and so I decided to block him on everything so he wouldn't be able to contact me ever again. After that, we finally got officially divorced, and with a lawyer present, we went through all the details of the divorce, and I got paid in damages for what had happened between us. Apparently, after all of this, Nate really needed some freedom in his life in terms of finances too, so he went asking his dad for help. But rightfully so, his dad denied to give him any handouts. Seth can get quite scary when he gets angry, so I can't imagine just how scared Nate must have been when he asked his dad for money and he was denied it.
Cheers!
Cheers!
I'm truly sorry for what Nate had done. If only I lived closer to the two of you, then maybe I'd have been able to do something about this whole situation. I'm sorry for what's happened, and that I couldn't be of any help as Nate's dad.
Please, Seth, you don't need to apologize on Nate's behalf. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm thankful for the way you've always had my back. Thank you.
If that's how you feel about me in the end, then I'm happy. Let's drink.
In the end? For some reason, I felt as though there was something meaningful in the way he said "in the end," but I didn't initially know why. Then it came to me. I had a feeling as though Seth had thought now that Nate and I had gotten divorced, that Seth and I wouldn't see each other anymore, so that's why he'd said "in the end." I hope you know, Seth, just because Nate and I got divorced, it doesn't mean that we can't still be good friends. Even if we didn't have the asset contract signed between us, I would still want us to be friends after all this. After all, you've been so kind to me all this time. There's no way anything could break our bond now.
Oh, thank you for saying those kind words, Heather. But unfortunately, I'm only going to get older from now on. And because of that, I think I'd end up being nothing but a nuisance to you.
Seth, stop saying that. You've looked after me so well up until now. Please let me be the one to look after you and to repay you for your kindness. I promise to be by your side until the very end.
Heather, thank you.
Seth, you don't need to cry. Nate truly was the worst type of human being ever to exist, and he ruined many years of my life that could have been otherwise great. But his dad, Seth, was the complete opposite of him. He always had my best interests at heart and truly cared for me. Unfortunately, there'll always be people who look out for themselves and do what serves them. But on the other hand, you have people that treat others with respect and kindness, and those are the types of people you have to keep close by. I might never be as good a cook as Seth's late wife, but I hope that he continues to enjoy the food I make for him. After all, he deserves to feel the warmth of a home-cooked meal. Trouble Busters.